we'll see what happens against Wolves, and we'll come on to pick our team for that game now, Ghosty. I'll start with you. Are you expecting any changes across the back? Would you bring Ibrahim Konate back in if he is fit and ready to go, or would you be more tempted possibly to give him a little bit longer and make sure he's ready for the weekend's game with Manchester United?
Yeah, as tempting as it is, I'm going to stick with Matip. I thought he was terrible on Saturday, to be frank. Just looked so shaky in possession. Him and Trent on that right-hand side were not great at all, and I thought Van Dijk had to be very, very good to help them out, really. But I'd be mindful of rushing back Konate too soon and then getting injured again. I think he's going to be needed for Sunday if he's got any chance. So yeah, I'm sticking with the back five.
Yeah, I think I'm reluctantly the same as you. I do wonder whether there might be a change at fullback, given it's 3 games in a week. Lynchy, is there any sort of argument there? Do you think? Would you try and bring Konate back? What are you thinking across the back four?
I just think Matip's performance the other night is making me want to take a risk with Konate, to be honest. I think, and also I think, it'd be kind of nice to get some minutes in his legs before the Manchester United game. I just think, if you can, it be, they'll have a good idea, won't they, of whether it is a risk or not. It wasn't a massive layoff, so maybe there's a chance there he could come in for Wednesday and then do the Sunday after. I really hope so, because I think he's massive in terms of improving that back line. I think, not every problem that Liverpool has been personnel issue, but having him back in terms of just having that pace, defensive recovery pace there, and obviously him and Van Dijk are really smart partnership together, helping out Trent as well, and I think it helps both fullbacks when that's the centre half pair in there. So I really would like to see Konate back in, if it's possible, and the rest. Maybe no other changes. Obviously, he brought Trent off, didn't he, against Crystal Palace, maybe thinking that he's going to protect him because he's got a lot of football to play, and he has played a lot of football. But I think I think Trent and Robertson and every player who's fit is going to have to, whenever there is a midweek now between now and the end of the season, is going to have to do the midweek weekend thing, because you shouldn't have too many. I know there's more fixtures than they would usually fit in the Premier League schedule, but like you said, they're not in the cups. So they don't have to worry about any of that. So you'd like to think that they could play these 15 games in the league and with a consistent side.
Yeah, certainly. Like you say, he took off Trent, didn't he, a little bit earlier. Maybe we'll see a little bit of that. You'd certainly rather see him maybe do 60, 70 minutes and then come off rather than not start in that game at all. But certainly be interesting. Let's move on to the midfield then, Ghosty. Who are you going to pick in the centre of the pitch?
I'm going to bring Stefan Bajcetic back in. And then I suppose it's simply a case of who's the least worst at the moment, which is a damning indictment, really.
Wow.
It's a hard choice as well.
That's what it feels like. Naby Keita, no chance. I'd be surprised if he starts another game again this season after Saturday night. He's kind of dwindling down his Liverpool career now, isn't he? Last final months, if he wants to remain a Liverpool player, he's not going the right way about showing it. I thought that was a pretty awful appearance from him on Saturday. Jordan Henderson and James Milner weren't much better. So I'll go with Bajcetic, Fabinho, and Henderson, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'm the same as you. I think Fabinho will come back in. Even he wasn't particularly great when he came off the bench and hasn't been recently. But I think he will probably have to come in. Lynchy, are you the same three or any changes in there?
Yeah, I think the best the midfield's looked in sort of possibly the entirety of the season was when, against Everton, when it was Bajcetic, Henderson and Fabinho. I just think that, maybe by some magic that they can put in another good performance together. I think Bajcetic being in there does lift things a little bit, not just because he's a quality young player, but also just that energy in there and maybe protecting others' legs a little bit more, filling gaps for them. And he's such a smart player. So, yeah, I'd really like to see him back in, because I think he has to start against United as well. And yeah, that's as good as Liverpool have looked in midfield in recently. So hopefully they can sort of rediscover that again.
Yeah, I was considering trying to get Harvey Elliott into that midfield three, but I think you're both right. I think that the balance of it just looks a lot better when it's been the Fabinho, Henderson, and Bajcetic. So I will we'll go with that as well. Let's move on to the forward line then, Gorsty. We mentioned before a few names and needing to get sharpness back. Which three are you going to go for up top?
Yeah, I think the important one is Nunez, isn't it? Whether he's cleared to play or not. He's obviously felt the effects of that shoulder injury at Newcastle, played through the pain barrier with the help of an injection against Real Madrid. So it's just a case of how that's healed up. I suppose Klopp will deliver an update tomorrow on that one. Let's say he is cleared to play. I'm going to start him on the left. I'm going to put Mo Salah on the right. I think it might be a good time to bring Firmino in, give him a first start since November.
Yeah, I can certainly see Roberto Firmino coming in. I think Darwin Nunez will start if he's fit. Lynchy, which way are you going to go with it?
Yeah, I kind of like that front three, to be honest. I think Firmino maybe coming back in would be a smart move. Gakpo's played an awful lot, hasn't he, since coming in? And I think he's been improving and showing real signs that he could be that sort of next Firmino type. It looks like it's really working that, and I know he will get better as well. But just maybe pull him out the firing line a little bit. Maybe then he comes in to start against Manchester United. And Firmino seems the direct swap, doesn't he? I know maybe he's going to be tempted to start Jota in there, but if you've got Nunez on the left hand side, Salah on the right, I think Firmino's the better fit in terms of allowing those two to play their natural game, which is go into central positions and him to drop off. He's been doing that for years, so I think I'd agree with that as a front three. I like that.